On this episode, we talk about GameStop, Amazon, and when the best time to start investing is. Welcome to episode 5 at Think at Heart.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Okay, episode 5, and I'm tired. You know why I'm tired?
Why?
I'm sick and tired. You know why?
Why?
Because we're on episode 5. This has been 5 weeks in a row, and I'm still doing it from my 1984 basement. Hey, look at that wood paneling behind us. I got the bar stools.
Looking
Yeah,
good.
right
Looking
there.
good.
Ready for the Super Bowl back here. Hey,
Yeah.
that's nice.
And I got my dog barking in the background.
Oh
How
my
perfect.
God. When are
How
we gonna
perfect.
people probably think we're hacks just doing this out of our house. We don't even work for a real company
No,
or anything.
no. This is the life we're in right now.
I don't think we've ever even told anybody what company we work for, right? It's the Hart
Uh,
Investment Group
yeah,
at National Bank Financial,
you
50
got it.
O'Connor Street,
That's
Ottawa,
it.
Ontario.
Yep.
Although if
So
you don't live in Ottawa and you still want to invest, you certainly can do that as long as you live in Canada.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly. Yep. You got it.
Full plug right off the gate, right out of the hop there.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty good, eh?
Pretty good. I'll take it.
Okay, we got a lot to do. We're
Yeah.
recording this on a Thursday instead of a Sunday. We're all discombobulated. I've clearly had too many Red Bulls or whatever it is that I drink.
We got Super Bowl weekend coming up.
Super Bowl weekend coming up. That's why we pushed it to Thursday, because we're all excited. It's going to be the loneliest Super Bowl ever. My kids and my wife have no interest in football whatsoever. So I'll be there. They'll be asking me what happened, and
Why did they throw a flag? And who is
yeah,
that? What's the
how come he
penalty?
kicked it out of bounds? The kids will be on their Xboxes. It's just anyway. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, it'll be great.
So you got, I mean,
Good.
it's true, but since you're starting there, who's your team? You got to pick. You got to
I
put
gotta
something.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Brady.
Yeah,
He's 43. I'm 43.
that's true.
We're in almost equal peak physical condition.
Very similar.
Very similar points in our career. Same 1984 basement wood paneling.
Exactly. That's what his country house looks like.
All right. Enough with the ridiculous banter.
Yeah.
What's going on this week? Let's start with GameStop, but we're going to take a different approach today.
Yep.
We're not going to talk about the short squeeze and all that stuff. That's all but over, and I'll let you jump in on that. But why? The thing that I found most interesting is why is GameStop not saying anything?
Yeah.
They've purposely been absolutely silent through this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they are just about bankrupt or going to, I shouldn't say bankrupt. They're almost out of business or insolvent or whatever you want to call it, right?
Sure. Yeah.
This is a great opportunity where they could have been out there raising money, getting all kinds of publicity, but on every news network in history and saying about what their plans are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Raising all kinds of money. So why would they stay silent?
I think it was one of the things I scratched my head at it too. We had some Twitter exchanges with a few guys around when GameStop was in the 400s. I'm like, why are they not raising capital? Why are they not coming to the market right now and saying, we'll raise $1 billion or $2 billion? The market would have gobbled it up. It actually would have helped some of the liquidity there as well, and would have supported the business. And the answer it seemed to get is that you don't I'm not super familiar with the executive management team, but I think they just were. My take is that they were ill prepared for it, and they kind of got taken back when this happened. And as it ran up, they didn't know what to do, take of it. They've been kind of focusing on trying to save their business. And the fundamentals were improving. And so I think they totally missed a very unique opportunity here to raise cash. And, we talked kind of offline here about, if you get like a Elon Musk or kind of a salesperson running the business, they're raising capital and they're off to the races and they're reinventing the business like you mentioned. So I think it was they weren't prepared, they didn't react quick enough, and now they're going to have to face this kind of slow slug as they try to reposition their business. I think they'll survive now. There's a lot more interest around it, and their CEO will probably come out at some point here. But I think they missed a great opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got to think that it's just poor leadership. I mean, CEOs typically, their main job is promotion and publicity of the brand,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they have other brands and setting the direction and the culture of the company, but
Sure.
they got to be the head salesperson there, and to say nothing
Yeah.
makes no sense. Internally, it seems like that they're getting ready to pivot. They just hired the first CTO, Chief Technical Officer in history,
Mhm.
which again, like how is it 2021 and that's the first chief technical officer that you've ever hired,
Yeah.
and you own a video game company. I know it's a resale
Yeah.
and it's retail, but
Sure.
I mean, you see
Yeah.
what everybody else is doing,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
I mean, making that hire probably would have saved Blockbuster, however long ago that was, 10, 15 years ago or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
being able to look at online platforms and whatnot. So,
Yeah. So
yeah, it makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
Blockbuster had a chance at buying Netflix, at one point.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like Yahoo had 3 times the chance to buy Google.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah, I guess in fairness, I guess if I'm playing the other side too, there's how many times in business, looking back now, did you make a stupid decision, right?
Lots.
Oh
Yep.
man,
Yeah.
oh man, right? It's
Yeah.
easy to look back and say I should have done that. Okay, so what's gonna happen then? Let's just wrap the GameStop stuff up because I'm
Yeah.
sick of hearing about it.
Me too.
But I would say this is probably gonna be the last week of attention that it'll get. As far as an investing in it, you think that's over? Like, is that? I mean, surely the short squeeze opportunity is over, but is an overall stock, is that still some people are looking at?
Yeah, so I like to say the fundamentals are improving. So, I think the business will be fine. It's down. Where did we close the day here? It's ugly. Close the day at 53.33.
Yikes!
53.33.
Yikes!
People lost lots of money in the past week and a half. So I don't know. I mean, I think that the one thing that I've watched him, and I think that was interesting, was obviously Barstool Dave. I keep calling him that. What's his name? Dave Portnoy.
Portnoy, yeah.
So yeah, Portnoy, him and his crew kind of got on the hedgies. He attacked Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen was one of the hedge funds invested with Melvin, and he was part of the bailout. And so they went at it a bit on Twitter, back and forth. And Cohen basically said, like, give me a call, let's discuss this. I wanted to save my investment. That's why I kicked in money. I'm not here to attack anybody. I'm here to tell you, like, this is how I make my money. This is how I run my business. And Portnoy wanted nothing of it. He didn't want to take a phone call. He just wanted to say, behind the scenes, they're going to try to make a deal, squeeze me out of something. I'm not going to do it. And so what happened is his crowd attacked Cohen and basically forced him off of Twitter. And one of the great things about Twitter was the independence and the information sharing, and some of the best ideas I get come from kind of that engagement with guys like Cohen, where they'll share what they're looking at, why they're looking at it, what's interesting. And so when you get some of those people out of this, we'll call it the FinTwit ecosystem, I think you're doing damage, because the great thing about Twitter is that you and I can go on there. Any person can go on there. But now if you're taking those kind of people out and just, exclusively having those people that are going to attack you and attack kind of that free information, I don't think it's good for the retail investor. I think it's actually done damage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely, again, I'm usually on the Main Street side of this, right? As far as I like the little guy, I like the consumer, but
Yeah,
I agree with you on this side. I mean, I'm a big Dave Portnoy fan. I think what
for
he's
sure.
done with Barstool Sports, is probably the most innovative marketing and content platform out there, right?
Yep. Yep.
And that guy is a master of promotion and publicity. So to me, it's a bit of a show, I think. obviously negative news. Yeah, my cat is in the show. Oh man, that's how the day's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, because I've watched Dave Portnoy for 10 years now and seen how
Yeah.
he's, grown to fame,
Yeah.
is usually through negative news. So
Yeah.
the fact that
Yeah.
he's not even willing to talk about it and he just wants to bully these guys, he's doing it for the publicity and drive his own business, right? Which is smart
Sure.
business for him.
For sure.
I don't think he really has. I mean, he proclaims to have lost 700K on this. He bought it at the absolute top and sold it at the absolute bottom, right? So, but he's certainly entertaining.
Yeah, he is. That he is. That he is.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm again just to wrap that up. I'm
Yeah.
on your side with that for
Yeah.
sure. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What about probably the biggest news of the week? Amazon founder, CEO, stepped down, just left. That's it. I'm done.
Crazy.
Out.
Crazy.
Leaving at the top. Leaving on a high note, just like George Costanza did. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I was
Right.
thinking more of a professional athlete leaving at the top, but I'll take George Costanza.
No. Well, he used to look like George Costanza. Now he's all jacked.
Yeah.
Right? He's got like this girlfriend, right? He went through that huge divorce. He got this girlfriend, and he's just, I think he's just going to live the good life now. You think?
For sure. For sure. I don't know. I saw a pretty funny meme that had a picture of Bezos and it said, "Tell me one person that didn't have to work as CEO for 26 years and become a billionaire."
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
And the answer to that is your ex-wife.
I thought you were going down the way of like, it took like 40 years to become an overnight success. No.
No.
Yeah,
no.
You're right about that.
Yeah, a little poke at him.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Look, I think he might be calling the top. I think that it's lots of people think that it's no big deal. Anybody can run these businesses. I mean, as well as I, that not anybody can run any business.
No.
Like you got a unique skill set for a Bezos, for a Jobs, for a Musk, for a Schultz. Like these people are unique.
Yeah.
Like they can sell the business, but they also have the knowledge to understand supply chain, to understand the markets, the direction of where things are going. You have to be able to be forward looking. These people bring that skill set that most don't have.
Yeah.
And while we look at Apple, and Apple can say that Tim Cook's been a success with Apple. Well, no, I mean, he's been a success at financial engineering, and so right place, right time for him. But you can't tell me Tim Cook would have built Apple. It's impossible.
No, but he probably is, and is proving to be the guy to take it to the next stage of its business life cycle.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Because I think like most entrepreneurs, I mean, I know for myself owning a few different businesses, there's also you when you start a business and you have that vision as an entrepreneur, sometimes you do realize it quicker than you thought. Although I guess Bezos I don't know when he started. It was in the 90s. Yeah. So let's say it took 20 years, 25 years to realize that, but then you realize it and you don't know what's beyond that, right?
Yeah.
And businesses, people forget, right? Businesses are not made to last forever, right?
Yeah.
I think the brands can maybe last forever if you pivot, but you have to do that exact same thing. You have to bring in fresh eyes to look at it.
Yep.
Because I ran the same business for like 13 years.
Yeah.
And I found the same thing. Like I just found myself recycling the same ideas because I need to bring in fresh people to get new ideas, right? And I think I think that's the perfect thing to do as a CEO.
Yeah.
Right? And a founder is bring somebody that he thinks it could take it to the next level.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I mean, the person that got the nod is head of cloud computing.
Mm-hmm.
And the margins are much better. So that's going to be, they're probably thinking about how the company evolves. And, I think that more and more focus on technology and that kind of business is going to continue to be a bigger part of what they're doing. Similar, I guess, to when what was the CEO that took over Disney? Iger. When Iger took
Yeah.
over, like they were still in that kind of, we're happy with the pace we're going. We're kind of going that right direction. And then Iger came in and was like, you know, we got to go 100 times faster. We got to grow our entertainment business. We got to grow our parks. We got to do this and buy Pixar and all those things. And Iger took Disney to the next level. So
Yeah.
maybe you get that kind of leader.
Without a doubt. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I really think that that's what everybody's speculating about what's happening. I just think that it's time. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? He sees it, right? He sees there's a lot brighter people than him out there, and that's the true sign of the best leaders are the ones that
Yep.
don't make it all about themselves. If they
Yeah.
really believe in the brand and they want it to continue on, it becomes a legacy for them.
Sure.
Then they know when the time is to
Yep.
pass it on.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
Blood.
Like,
Okay, so that's the news of the day.
yeah.
I feel like we should have a graphic here that kind of starts that and ends that.
Yeah.
But okay, let's go on to the real world of our day to day
Oh, yeah.
as investment advisors, as an investment advisor team. So here's the thing, right? Is a lot of people wonder, and I know for myself years ago, I certainly did. When is the best time to start investing? Right? There's so many different ways to invest now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You got your Wealth Simple and the Quest trades and those kind of discount online brokerages.
Yeah.
And then, but you've got advisors like ourselves.
Yeah.
Some advisors won't take you on unless have a certain amount of assets to invest. I mean, it's
Sure.
not ideal,
Yeah.
because for a number of reasons. But I think people that want to get into investing are probably intimidated because they don't.
For
Oh,
sure.
I've only got
Yeah.
250 grand, or I've got
Yeah.
100 grand.
Yeah.
When is the time? When will
Yeah.
they take me on?
Yeah.
So when do you think people should start looking at that?
Yeah, I mean the studies and the pure simple math of it all, right, is that the sooner you start, the better you are. So, if you've done some of that research piece, which we could probably delve into a bit more at some point, is, if you invest for the first 20 years of your life, you'll never have to invest for the rest of your life because you get the power of compounding. And so though, if you look at those comparisons, well, if I put in X amount for the first 20 years versus X amount for those next 40 years, it's a lot more challenging to grow your wealth. So, I think you should start as soon as you can. And most people probably can't really open accounts until they're 18. So, I think when you're 18, though, you should open a TFSA. You're going to have some money saved from gifts or presents from family, but you should start chipping away and putting money into a tax-free savings account. And one of the best things that you can do is just things that we've talked about, which is you put a percentage aside. So if you're 18 years old, you're probably living at home. So you probably don't need all of your salary or income if you're working, and you just have to put X amount aside every paycheck and continue to do that. So, I think that's a good way to start putting money aside and just getting in that habit of putting money somewhere else, not just in your general bank account. Because I think there's that kind of thinking, well, once I get to 1,000, then I'll do it. Or once I get to 10,000, or once I get to 20,000, and that never happens because it gets spent. It goes to this or that or the other. So you actually physically need to move it somewhere else. And so with most places, I think an easy starting point is if you're at a bank and you're doing your online banking, you can open a TFSA or you can open an investment account if you want, and just start putting money into it on a biweekly, monthly basis, whatever. Just get in that habit of starting putting money into it. So I think that's probably point number one, is you want to get in that habit of saving the money.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So yeah, absolutely. You get in the habit of saving the money. That's usually at the bank level.
Yep.
Right. I think that's important to say. Like you mentioned that you can just go on your online account, move it over. So when do they transition? When is the right time then to go from just retail bank investing, right? Like, because they
Yeah,
can buy all kinds of products right
sure.
at the retail level at the bank,
Yeah,
to when you should start looking at putting your money with the
advisor.
investment advisor.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be different for everybody for sure. And I mean, we've tried to do a good job of expanding those relationships. And I think we talked last week about that, we want to have kind of the multi-generation so that we have 3 or 4 generations. And so, I would think that when people want to start getting serious about it, if they're starting to think about a goal, like I want to buy a house and I want to save towards buying that house, and you want to put something in place to get there. I know not every advisory team is willing to, take on a $25,000 client who's 20 years old. But I think that it's a learning curve, and it's an evolution, and people that want to learn about it when they're 20 years old, they got $20,000. Like, that's you got to start to learn about kind of the terminology. You want to start to learn about what the different pieces are. Our services are best suited for the million plus for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a matter of just saying, if you want to see how things evolve, do you want to learn about investing as well, and do you want to learn about what we do? Fortunately, if you work with our team, of course, you're going to get a lot of this, right? You're going to get a lot of education. You're going to get a lot of content. You're going to understand a lot more about the markets and things like that. So that's awesome for young people for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But in a typical advisory relationship, they're probably not going to take you on until the dog made his appearance, which is
I got
great.
the cat, you got the
Yeah.
dog. Yeah.
Until you have probably $250,000 or more
Mm-hmm.
before they consider working with you. But
Yeah.
we can, because of how we manage money, you can scale that, whether you got $1 million in it or you got $25,000 in it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just different slivers within that allocation.
Yeah.
But I think that, you should really think about understanding and learning about the business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What inevitably happens though, like our business is all about trust, right? So, if you trust the team that you want to work with and you work with them, if you don't want to think about it, then, maybe a Wealthsimple makes sense. Is you take a reasonable balanced portfolio, just stick it in there, keep saving it on a monthly basis. You kind of learn about how things go up and down. You make mistakes, but you make them with less money. One of the interesting things that's come out of this Robinhood thing, right, in the U.S. with all these losses, and people talk about how much money people lost. The good news is that the average account was $6,200.
Yeah.
So for people that lost money and they lost $6,000, well, I know in some cases that was their nest egg, that was their life savings, but it wasn't 600,000, it wasn't 6 million.
Mm-hmm.
They made some mistakes, they learned a lot,
Yeah.
and they'll learn about the business. So the same can apply with saving money in a Robinhood or a Quest trade.
Yeah.
You're going to learn about that, and you need to go through market cycles to learn, which only can happen over time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so do you think like those Simple and Quest trades and stuff like that? I mean, you hear so much now that they've got a lot of artificial intelligence and algorithms and whatnot that they're working with in those platforms. You hear like, oh, that's going to replace advisors one day,
Yeah,
like the robo advisor, and
yeah.
you know, what's your position on that? Do you think that'll happen one day?
I think you could probably replace 50% of them.
I don't know. My experience is a lot. It's a lot more than 50. But yeah.
Yeah,
But
so I
yeah.
think it could replace them for sure.
Yeah.
I think it might change, and I think there'll be a pretty severe divide in
Mm,
our business at some point where you're a portfolio manager or you're a financial planner.
yeah.
Those financial planners will do planning and they'll buy ETF strategies or mutual fund strategies,
Yeah.
and there'll be that kind of planning. type.
Yeah.
And then there'll be the portfolio managers and like the team like we run, where we run the money. Yes, we'll have expertise to do planning and things like that, but
Yeah.
we'll run the money and we'll make decisions based on what's happening in real time.
Yeah.
So you can't replicate that in ETF land. Maybe you
Hmm.
can, but you can't yet.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a pretty severe divide.
Yeah. I mean, my view on it is very similar to I keep saying, like, I think the financial world's where the real estate world was 20 years ago.
Yeah,
And when you first started seeing the MLS come into play, the multiple listing service in real estate, people were like, that's it for realtors, right? That was over 20 years ago, probably closer to 30 years ago. I'm terrible with dates, but
yeah,
when the MLS came in, and that was it for realtors. And that was when it was physically books. The
yeah,
MLS was, you'd have to look through the books. Then online came on. That's it for realtors. People can go in, look at their own house, video walkthroughs. That's it
yeah,
for realtors. They don't need it anymore, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
what we found is and what we found was is the realtors that were able to take those tools and use them to provide more value for the customer
yeah,
were the ones that just had exponential growth, because they're not seeing it as a threat to their
right.
industry. They're
Yeah,
seeing these amazing tools,
yeah,
right? Oh, I got this planning tool. Oh,
yeah,
I've got this investment tool that I can use to
yeah,
help my clients do better or reach their goals faster,
yeah,
right? I'm going to bring it to them first,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I think it's going to be the advisors that take that approach, and we've already
yeah,
started to take that approach,
for sure.
right? That are
Yeah,
going to win in the end, right?
yeah,
It's not going to be. People are already saying, "Oh, it's going to be it for advisors." It's not going to be it.
yeah.
It's
I
going to
don't,
change, right?
I think you're right. And
Yeah,
so that, I mean, that's part of the thing that's interesting about National Bank too, right? National Bank Financial is they're thinking about the fact that the world is changing. So I think we've talked, or we may have mentioned at one point, that they have a strategic partnership with Nest Wealth. And so Nest builds like online planning tools. And I think these are awesome. Like clients are going to love this when we get to a reasonable point where you want to do that comparison. Do I put money in my RSP or do I put it in my TFSA? Boom, you got a tool there. You don't need me to do that. You
yeah,
just plug it in, you can play with it. You say, I do 10 grand versus 10 grand. I'm in this tax bracket versus this tax bracket.
yeah,
And you get something generated, and it takes minutes,
yeah,
and you can finagle with it.
yeah,
One of the other things that they have here is they have a relationship with a health service provider. So if you end up being a private banker as part of the group, as part of how we make decisions, you get a direct access call to a nurse whenever you need something. You got a question, not like telehealth, like a serious professional nurse that you can call and say, this is what's happening. These are some of the thinking about how things need to evolve, and people want different things.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's important about looking forward, and that's what we try to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think again, I feel like we've given ourselves a lot of plugs on this episode, right? But yeah, I think we definitely have that vision, and more than I've seen any advisor, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I think that I just let me be while I got it in my mind here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the difference with the ETF planning tools like the Quests, the Simples, they're all looking backwards. They're all of their data, all of the stuff that they use is this is what happened last time. So we need to make sure the portfolio is structured this way so it happens the same way as going ahead. But you know there's a real high probability that the next 40 don't look like the last 40. So
right.
they're going to be constructing portfolios for people that's not based on what's happening in front of us. And so that's not only them, but that's a big part of the risk with something like that.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really
Yeah,
good point.
yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, what you got anything else you want to talk about for this week on this special Thursday
Thursday
edition?
episode. No, I don't think so. I mean, I think we'd mentioned on one of these, and probably the first one, where I said I started getting investing in the market when I was 13. You can't do that today, but back then you could. But
Yeah,
so I mean, it is cool and fun. I know that some clients in the past I've seen have given kids some gifts, like, buy them 10 shares of Disney, or buy them, like say they like Roblox, for example. When they go public, you could buy a kid 5 shares of Roblox. And gives them a chance to look at it, and they can pull up the ticker symbol and see, my 5 shares are, now we're at $500, and now they're worth $650, and kind of a learning way to go.
Can you do that? You how does that work? You open an account for them?
So you do you would do it online. Like most of these places would clear through a computer share or something like that. Almost all of them have a site you can go in and you buy them in trust for the kids, and they just get a digital. They don't actually generate the actual stock certificates anymore. You can get a replica one, but all of it's all online now. But yeah, you could set it up for them, and they could have, as I say, 5 shares of pretty much, or whatever amount of shares of any publicly traded company. They could go in and check it whenever they want.
It's a great birthday gift idea.
Yeah.
Your teenage kids.
That's
any kids that are interested in investing.
Exactly.
I'm doing it. Don't tell mine. There's no way they'll listen to this anyway. Certainly not to the end of one.
That's it. Exactly. They might get the start. My kids get the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, they listen to my stupid openings and then they move on.
Exactly.
All right, episode 5, I think, in the books.
In the books. That's good. I think it's
have a good weekend. However, have a good Super Bowl. Go Tom Brady and go Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bye.
Bye.